Well, hi. It's cold right now, and it's getting colder as the days keep coming along. And guess what? My stinking furnace is broken. So I called a couple of companies, and I could not believe what they were asking just to come and look at it. Not to fix it, just to come and look at it. And if you know me, I ain't gonna be spending that kind of money. So it's a gas furnace. I'm gonna see if the pilots, just went off and I just need to start it. Or it could be an element, some kind of a starter mechanism that fires up or clicks on, not making the flame go on. So let's save some money and let's look at it together and see if we can fix this. Hi you guys, welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, I would like to take the time out to say welcome and hope to see you again and again. Well, as you can see, I have a Trane XE180. Like I said, I've never worked on a furnace before, but it really can't be that complicated. So I'm going to try my hand and see if I can get this thing fixed. One of the first things I did was take off the cover of the furnace. And I turned the furnace on. And I listened to the furnace go through its cycles. If you hear the furnace going through the cycles, that's a good sign. It means that everything's working properly, but for some reason, it's not igniting the fire in the furnace. Now, if you look on top of the furnace area, I'm looking at the dial to see if there is a pilot light that I need to light. If you look at the dial, you'll typically see the word pilot on the dial like you would see on a water heater, like this. But if it just says off on, chances being you have some kind of an electrode that gets hot and fires up the furnace. So as you can see, I just have a regular dial and on and off. So that means I have some kind of electronic igniter that starts the furnace instead of a pilot light. So one of the first things you want to do is go to the breaker box and locate your furnace switch and turn off the breaker. Next, you're going to go inside and turn your thermostat on the off position. Then you're going to go to your gas and shut off the valve to turn off the gas. Then what we want to do is locate where the igniter is. Your igniter is located in different locations. Mine's right here. You can see where the plug goes into it. If you follow that wire inside, you'll see the igniter or the element of the igniter. You can see there's two screws here that I'm going to have to take off. And you can see the igniter right about here. I've drawn a red line around it to show you where it's at. Now there's a couple of ways to test this. You can unplug the plug and test the plug going into the unit. You should have 110. But if the element is working, you should have continuity. So I'm going to assume I'm getting power. I'm just going to check the element and see if I have continuity. If I don't have continuity, that means I have a bad igniter. Here I have my digital multimeter. It reads out volts, amps, ohms. If you don't have one of these, you gotta have one. You can pick one up at, of course, Amazon, Craigslist, or at Harbor Freight. You can pick one up for around anywhere from 20 to 30 bucks. If you're like me and like to fix things, this thing is really handy. So what I'm gonna do is set it up to check my continuity. If you set it here, there'll be a buzzard. If I have a circuit, it'll buzz. If the circuit is broken, it won't buzz. Just switch it here. To test it, just touch your probes together and it should buzz. That means you have a complete circuit. For demonstration purposes, I have this igniter pulled out to show you how to put the probes in the plug. But because the igniter is still in the furnace, you'll be testing it in the furnace. Okay, now what you're going to do is take the two probes and plug it into the plug that goes to your igniter. Just like this. Just stick the two probes into the plug, and if you hear a buzz, the igniter's good. If you don't hear a buzz, the igniter's bad. Well, as you can see, no buzzard, so this igniter's bad. So that tells me I need to replace the igniter. So let's go ahead and take the screws out and remove the igniter. Okay, we're going to go underneath and we're going to remove these two 1/4-inch screws. we're going to need a 1/4 inch socket, an extension, and a ratchet, just like what I have here. Go ahead and carefully remove the 2 screws. Once you have the 2 screws removed, your igniter now can easily come out. Well, there's our igniter. Now I'm going to have to figure out where can I get one of these. If you look closely at this igniter, you can see where the problem area was. You can see a little small tiny crack right about here. It's funny because I've seen some pictures of this type of igniter before, and it's funny, it seems like it failed at the same spot. Okay, now that we got a new igniter, we can go ahead and unscrew the igniter off this metal bracket. All you need to do is just loosen the screw. You don't have to remove it from the bracket. Unscrew it and slide out the old igniter. Here is the new igniter. If you have the same model of the furnace that I have, go ahead and take this number down. You can find these cheaper on eBay or Amazon. If your furnace is old, you probably want to order one. It'll be cheaper that way, and you'll have the part right away. I had to go downtown and pick up mine because I couldn't wait 3 or 4 days, since we have a freezing storm coming. Okay, here's one thing you really need to remember. Do not touch the element. If you touch the element, you'll get your oils from your hands on there, and the element won't last as long. So do not touch the element. Okay, if you notice on the bracket, there's a little lip here. You want to make sure you correctly install the element like the old one. Okay, we're ready to tighten it up. Do not tighten it too much because you'll crack the ceramic base. It's made out of ceramic, so just tighten it till it gets snug. Okay, that's it. Now we're ready to install it. We're almost done. Okay, let's go ahead and put the igniter back in. Again, being very careful because this igniter is very, very brittle. And of course, don't touch the igniter. Once you got in position, put your 2 screws in and tighten up the screws. Now these are sheet metal screws, so you don't have to tighten them too tight, but make sure they're good and snug. Once you got the unit screwed in, go ahead and plug the plugs together. It's a good idea at this point to go ahead and pull out your vacuum cleaner and vacuum this bottom area here. Well, what do you know? Here's an old piece of an old igniter. What you don't want to do is for the flame to start a fire with this debris that's left here. So go ahead and vacuum it up. Okay, now we're ready to fire this bad boy up. First, let's turn the gas on. Next, turn your furnace breaker on. Next, go to your thermostat and turn your heat on. Make sure the temperature is set higher than what the room temperature is, so your furnace will kick on. Go outside and see if it fires up. First, you'll hear a few clicks go on. Then the igniter should come on and glow. It'll glow for a few seconds till it gets to the right temperature, and then the gas will kick on and your furnace should fire up. Houston, we have liftoff. There you go. We're good to go. Now we're all done. All we have to do now is put the grill back in. And now I'm ready for the winter. Thank God. Okay, well I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was very informative. Please check out my other how-to videos. Oh, and check out my new website. There's new items being put in there every day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, hit the bell. Until then, we'll see you at my next video. Bye!